Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark.
This week, the evolution of reggae music and its influence on the world. Reggae music was born from many sources, but Bob Marley and the Wailers brought it to the world scene. Jamaica's music has been popular outside of the island since its earliest recorded days, but the best known Jamaican form is undeniably reggae. Following in the footsteps of mento, rocksteady, and ska, reggae also combines elements of rock music to form something truly unique. The lively music scene in Jamaica was fed by the popularity of dance tracks, and in Kingston in particular, music was extremely important. Ska and rocksteady are reggae's main influences, but it also goes back even earlier to draw on mento music as well. The influx of music from the United States also played a role. The growth of reggae spurred the island's record companies towards change. Prior to the explosion of reggae, record companies paid artists per record without royalties. No matter how popular a track became, the individual artist would see none of the profits, and many musicians were still poor in Jamaica. Meanwhile, the music industry outside of Jamaica had converted to a system of artist royalties, making being a musician a very lucrative career. When you think of reggae, the name that springs to most people's minds is Bob Marley. He, along with Bunny Wailer and Peter Tosh, had their group, the Wailers, which originally began its career performing rock-steady style tracks, but Jamaican music was poised to take another step forward. Changing the beat again, reggae took over with its own distinctive rhythm. The Wailers were able to turn some heads, but Marley, seeking steady income, spent several years in the United States before returning to Jamaica and the reggae scene. In 1968, the band got its big break, recording as studio musicians alongside John Nash, who was a popular soul singer in the United States. The political scene at the time in Jamaica was tense. Many reggae musicians, including Wailer member Bunny Wailer, were Rastafarians. Jamaican law forbade the use of marijuana or ganja, which is an integral part of Rastafarian beliefs. In the early 1970s, the Wailers were finally signed to Island Records in Britain, giving them the opportunity to be paid royalties for their earnings. Jamaican-born Briton Chris Blackwell was responsible for the production of their first wildly popular record. A second record came a few years later, though the Wailers amicably broke up in 1974, and the later recordings are credited to a new group of Wailers led by Bob Marley. Bob Marley himself became synonymous with reggae as its popularity grew worldwide. Even African children knew the words to Marley's reggae tunes, while other reggae artists continued producing top-notch works. Still, reggae was less popular in the United States than it was in many other countries. America first took notice of reggae as part of the Black Power movement in the 1960s. In the 1980s, after Marley died of cancer, he became a wildly popular musical figure in the United States. Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer each produced their own hit records after the group broke up. Meanwhile, other artists, both in Jamaica and around the world, were producing hits. However, it was Marley and the Wailers' talents and ability to bring the genre to Britain and later the rest of the world that made reggae what it is today. Even so, it was not a reggae song by a Jamaican artist that brought the world's attention to the genre. It was Eric Clapton's I Shot the Sheriff that truly broke international ground. Jamaica's popular artists include Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer as well as Marley. However, Delroy Wilson's songs were island-wide hits. Dennis Brown, Beres Hammond, Gregory Isaacs, and Freddie McGregor are other Jamaican reggae stars. These and plenty other artists brought unique styles to the genre.
And now to end Jamaican Roots and Culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. History is a clock that people use to tell their time of day. It's a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are and what they are. The words of John Henry Clark. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.